Okay, I think we're back. I'll wait for everyone to tune in. Okay. I see someone has returned, so maybe you could let me know in the chat. Is this coming in clear here, or? Okay, Vince says so far so good. All right. It's seriously acting so haywire. Like even my screen looks like weird. Like it's like looking extra dingy. So I don't know. But it looks like people are finding their way back. So sorry about that. I really don't know. You really can't always control how these technology things decide to act up. But anyways, welcome back everyone. Thank you for jumping ship and coming back with me. I think I'm gonna just get into it then. YouTube can't handle the stream, and we haven't even gotten started. We literally haven't even gotten started at all yet, so I don't know what that's about. So, just take a moment to ground a little bit. I was saying before, when I was rudely interrupted, and that was a good time to breathe and just come into your heart, come into your center, connect with your higher self to receive whatever is the highest messages for you today, whatever will benefit you for your greatest and highest good today. That's always the intention. And so it is. All right, it's so grounding. There's so much power just in sound. I love it. Yeah, so I want to touch upon. There's a few different things that were coming to mind today about just where we are right now, and I guess I feel like where I'm at right now, what I've been seeing. A lot of positive things. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people more. I see a lot of people starting to use their voice more and come forward more, or maybe they're just even just thinking about using their voice more. And I just really want to encourage that because we all have a voice, we all have a unique voice, and our voice is a gift, just like our will is a gift. And it's been so often that, we don't accept our own voice, or we don't trust our own voice, or we fear what others will think or say about our unique voice. And it can be really daunting for people. But it's something that I love to see and encourage more of, because I feel like that's part of what we need is, more people using their voice and sharing their experiences, because that's the thing is like everybody has a unique story, everybody has unique experiences to share, and you never know who you might reach and who you might help. A lot of times we get these doubts, and it can be vicious. I know it can be vicious, and I don't know if this is a certain group of people that that needs to hear this, because I know there's a lot of, again, I've talked about before, I feel like the more quiet voices that are actually really, really important. And so I just encourage you, if that's something you've been thinking about, to, yeah, keep going on that path, because it really is beautiful. A lot of times we compare ourselves. Oh, well, this person's already doing that. Why would what I say have to be important? They're already doing it. But don't underestimate, you have your own unique voice that, maybe someone who wouldn't understand whoever you're comparing yourself to, they would understand you saying it. They would understand you communicating the message, in your own unique way. They might relate to you more, for some reason. So, really, really beautiful to see people starting to use their voice, or in any form. It doesn't just have to be, even beyond just speaking, but as far as, expressing yourself and creating, in a way, your legacy, creating like what kind of impact you want to have on the world. And it truly is so beautiful. Something I was thinking about today, and I was also thinking of titling this video on that, something like flowing on the high seas of the water bearing age. It's kind of a mouthful, but we're going into this age of Aquarius, going into, which is the water bearer, bearing the water. I feel like you can really feel it. I can. It's like there's so much. I kind of talked about this in the last video. There's so much information, and I know I'm not the only one feeling this. It feels like lately there's just so much information, so many different ideas, so many things like connecting together. And it's really inspiring. It can be a little bit um, almost overwhelming at times, but I think ultimately it's a good thing. But I guess it kind of brings up this point I want to make about flowing and coming back to who you really are, and coming back to always coming back to your truth, your center, your intuition, as that's truly your North Star. Because, and this is what's so funny, is your beliefs, how much our beliefs truly create our reality. And this is something that is really coming strong. I feel like my higher self is really wanting to share this, is our beliefs create our reality so much more than we often are even aware of. And that's why it's so important for us to start to be conscious, as they say, be conscious of the unconscious, to be conscious of, again, like our conscious and our unconscious beliefs about ourselves, about others, about the earth, about the universe we live in, because these things affect a lot on how we experience things, what we believe. And that's why beliefs are so powerful, is because what you believe, you will experience truly what you believe. So, if you believe, like that you're creating this heaven on earth, you'll start to experience it. And that's truly been my experience. And I know I'm not the only one. And I see some people, I feel like maybe they don't believe that's possible. And I understand, that's their journey to have. But, it's just interesting. Again, like, I just feel like that's kind of a great example of how we create our reality. Because and I'm not trying to pick on anyone, this is just my experience. This is just my perspective. It's like, on one hand, what you believe, you will create. So that's really, really powerful, right? You can create the life of your dreams. It's like, I feel like a living example of that. And I'm still creating so much. I feel like I'm just getting started, but there's lots of things I'm doing now that, years ago, I was like really wanting to manifest. And I had to, it's a journey. It's a journey of, healing and being aware of your beliefs and coming into true, it really is about coming into like a vibrational alignment with these things. And so you really have to be honest with yourself when you're trying to, then sometimes, I guess one way to say it, jump timelines, or, quantum jump into another reality. Well, you really need to be aware of your beliefs, and how you really believe about yourself. Because sometimes, our egos, certain parts of us, we can be in denial about, oh, well, I do believe this, but, maybe, you really actually have a little more work to do on that. But anyways, the whole point of bringing this up is just to be aware, that's why I think it's so important to flow, and learning to flow, in your own unique way, whatever that means to you. Learning to flow with the change, because everything's going to keep changing, internally and externally, to flow with the resistance instead of getting hung up on the resistance. Oh, this is wrong. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh, this is wrong. Oh, I'm wrong. People can get really caught in that. And it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of an interesting thing to observe, because you can almost, I feel like, get in this mode where your beliefs are creating your reality, but maybe they're actually, more negative beliefs. It's kind of trippy. So you can start to have this negative perception of who you are, or this negative perception of other people, or a negative perception of reality. And while we're here, you can start to have like a negative, like a kind of like a victim mentality relationship with the very reality you live in. And that's tricky because, there's a, to a large extent now you're starting to actually believe that, and you're going to start creating that, and it's kind of like you kind of can get into a loop. So I don't know. I just kind of want to share that that's just something to be aware of, that it's hard to put into words, but the more and more I experience life, the more and more I start to um, find this flow and find this freedom. It's like find this surrender, or like intentional surrender. I really like intentional surrender, because you can get so fixated on things sometimes, and it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's like we can have these like super fixated attitudes or attachments to things in one way or another, and a lot of times we can't even see it. We can have these fixated attachments to things, and that can actually perpetuate the very thing we might be trying to not perpetuate. So it's kind of meta. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it's kind of meta. It's like, you're believing this thing, and so it's happening, and so you're experiencing it. So, it's important to be free, to be empowered, to be sovereign with what you're choosing to believe in, I guess is really what I'm saying. And it's a process, it's a process. But this is actually a big message that I actually want to share right off the bat, is something that I was talking to my friend about recently. And it's a really beautiful place to be in my experience, when you can really truly like surrender and really truly like just let go of what you think, even if just for a moment. It's a practice, but even if just for a moment you can let go of what you think you want, or you think or you think you are, because this is so important, and like actually surrender, and just even just for a moment. Again, that's why meditation in this form is so powerful. Just let it go and just be. It's like, it's this phenomena where when you can really practice that, things can just start to kind of flow with you. Like things can just start to kind of fall into place, but we have sometimes this resistance, and it's more than resistance that I'm speaking about. It's like, a lot of times it's actually trauma that's kind of like egging us on, of like, I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing this right. I'm not good enough, or, whatever the case may be, this like looking for something to blame for how we feel. And maybe there's truth to that, maybe there's something to observe within that, it's coming up for a reason. But again, it's just something to be aware about. It's just something to be aware that you're not perpetuating things that you're actually not trying to perpetuate by feeding your energy, feeding your beliefs into them. I hope that makes sense. I know that's a lot, but what I was going to say about the surrender is, that's something that I'm grateful. I think a large part of um, why I am the way I am is from a young age. I've always kind of had that attitude of like, God, show me the way. Like I've always just had that attitude of like, show me the way. And I've always been shown the way. Obviously there's, we all have a process to go through. And, I've learned from many mistakes on my journey, but ultimately just keeping that surrender, keeping that openness of heart. It's incredible how you become such a witness to miraculous things. And I guess that's another point I just want to make, is like, I feel like this time, especially for the brave, for the bold, it's like we truly are creating our heaven on earth. And I feel like that is a service to humanity, because the more we can heal and be clear and live these beautiful lives, simple lives, harmonious lives, harmonious with ourselves, with other people, with nature, we start to, it's like you start to spiral higher and higher. Again, you become a living example, and you're able to serve so much more when you do that. And that's, again, at least for me in my heart, I know that's a big reason why I'm here. And it's a joy for me. It's an honor for me, because it's like, and that's why, I often bring up the whole Aquarian age, because again, that's that whole energy of Aquarius, is it's trailblazing. There's this, I feel like sometimes, you see within ourselves and within the collective, I guess you would call them the doomsdayers, and they're a fractal, they exist not just within the truther community, but they're kind of just within everything, certain people are voices that just want to always be all about the doom and the doom and the doom and the gloom and all of these things. And again, I'll touch on the dark things, and the dark things are a reality, and it's things we should be aware of by all means. But again, there comes a point for me, at least, when it's like we have to have that warrior spirit and be brave to trailblaze what's possible. There might be somebody that tells me you can't create heaven on earth, and I'm going to be unfazed by that because I'm just going to do it. That's how I feel, because I know it's possible. I'm already doing it, truly. I mean, and I'm it's just incredible. I don't know. I don't like to say that to try to like brag or anything, but it's more just to inspire with what's possible, because it really has started from the inside out. And it has to do with everything we're talking about, of being present, letting go of all that shit that's killing you, all of it, letting it go. It's an ongoing process, letting go of all that shit that's killing you. It's actually sometimes harder than you would think, strangely enough, and putting in the effort to like pursue your highest love, truly, like, and pursuing these higher states. Even you can't always be in these higher states, perhaps, living in this life, but that's something that I do, is I try to make more and more space for that to come into my life, because I know that these higher states of, again, and it's a feeling, it's not just in the mind, it's not just a mental thing, it's actually a whole experience to feel one with God, to feel that love. That's really all we need. That's really all we want. And it's so simple. But again, we always get pulled, it's so easy to get pulled into, we have all these traumas or these fears or these triggers or these things. And there's a reason for that too. It's multidimensional, because again, that's the whole point of being an ascended master, is you're anchoring in these high states of being, these high states of true love and unity with God and connection and peace and compassion and forgiveness, joy, bliss. I might be repeating myself, but really these high states where you're really, really tapped into something magical. Life is different, you know. So where those bridges of that is who we truly are, starting to access that, putting in the effort to reach that, because those experiences alone will very profoundly affect your life and your perspective and how you see things, how you treat yourself, how you treat others, your priorities. Those experiences will literally shift you immensely. And at the same time, you know, we are walking the earth. We are walking the dense earth. So it's like we're bridging that world. We're learning how to. So there's a reason we're coming across these challenges, or coming across, these dense things, maybe in our family lineage, or, in people around us, or within ourselves. It's all over. So there really is so much beauty to it. And I feel fortunate, and I feel like a lot of, I'm sure everybody listening to this right now, it's actually such a blessing to be able to have this spirit, like this warrior spirit, where like you just feel this love and this connection, and you just, I don't know, it's like you just know, I guess it's just a knowing. It's a power, and it's hard earned. It takes a lot of energy to start to come in and bring this back to you, to again, I guess in a way you could say, like, shed these old layers of that aren't really you. It takes a lot of work, truly, but it's so worth it, and it's so possible, and we all have it within us. It's such a blessing to be a part of. So that's one of the things that I wanted to mention. Haven't been really keeping up with the chat, because it's, sometimes it's hard to multitask. You could have a steam train if you just lay down your tracks. You could have an aeroplane flying if you bring your blue sky bag. PG. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Vince, really good point. People have a tendency to confuse beliefs with desires in the same way that we were taught to interpret follow your heart as do as thou wilt. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a fine line. Yeah, and there is a connection. Oh, Brett says also with me, it's when I look back that I fall out of that flow. That's really interesting, and that's a really good point because I feel like that's it can go both ways. It's like sometimes we can look back at the past, whatever it may be, trauma or tribulations that were, that we kind of give our power away because we think, it's going to happen again, or, again, we just fall out of that presence, that 0 point that is the presence. Or, and I feel like this is something I find myself doing is falling out of flow because I'm looking into the future, and again, it's a slippery slope. Thank you, Eternal Truth. Thank you so much for that super chat. Good to see you here. What's that thing they say? Better late than never. Hi, Jim. Good to see you. No despair, exactly. Interesting. Beautiful. All right. Yeah. So, and thanks again for everybody who followed me over here. We had some technical difficulties with the other video and it was going crazy, but here we are. But there's an analogy I like to use sometimes that I believe I heard first from channel Eldora and Saman, this beautiful couple. They mentioned in these times being slippery as an eel, and I think about that sometimes. It's like it's true. It's like getting attached to things. It's like so easy for us to try to like sometimes just get attached to things, and things change, but then something changes, and it's like you kind of have a choice in how you're going to respond. Are you going to have a knee-jerk reaction and get out of flow and be like, oh my god, this isn't how it's supposed to be, or are you going to just say, okay, like, let's just see what happens now, just flow with this now? Because every time I've ever done that, it's always been a blessing and it's always been divine. It's literally a perfect plan. It's like once you come into the organic version of yourself, you come into this organic timeline, which again is really starting to heal yourself, heal these really dense things, as I've mentioned before, get like entities and implants and these things that literally tether us to the matrix. You really start to clear yourself. That's how you know you're in this organic timeline. You're not having these voices torture you in your mind anymore, because that's really dense. That's when it's, you really are like experiencing that matrix, when you have these really dense, like torturing thoughts. Once you really start to clear yourself of that, you still have challenges. I'm not going to say you don't have, again, you still have resistance, you still have your own self, but it's a totally different world, and you actually get to experience the organic template of earth, which is sacred. It's like you're actually always, there's always a perfect divine plan, and it's like you're so connected to God, you're so connected to love, you're so connected to, however you perceive like the beautiful, abundant, benevolent forces that are within you and around you, that it's just a whole different reality, and you're just always flowing, and it's like you just feel, I guess that's a theme I've been feeling a lot that I want to share, is like I feel more supported than ever. It's like I feel so supported, you know by myself first and foremost, and and that's when it ripples out by the people around me more than ever, and that's such an amazing feeling, and why it's one of my biggest goals to um, long term create community, because it's a different feeling when you're connected to soul family in your life, in your real life, and you have people that actually see you for who you are, and actually honor you for who you are, without even having to say words sometimes. And it gives you more courage, as we said in the beginning, to use your voice, to use the gift of your voice, because you know who you are, and you know that it's really encouraging when you know that there's people who really love you that got your back. So I've been feeling a lot of that, and I wish that for all of you, to know that, you got people that got your back. That's soul fam. That's truly soul fam. So yeah, I guess that was really the biggest part of the message, is just learning to flow with the changes, being adaptable, really. And to me, it's fun. And I think maybe it helps being a musician, because I feel like life is a lot like music, and life is a lot like dancing, even. It's like you find the groove. Like, you got to find the groove of life. And the groove, to me, it's just the present moment. It's like, what is arising in the present moment? How can I groove with it? Oh, maybe it's really suspenseful. It's like, okay, well then I'm gonna do a suspenseful little dance, and then maybe it's gonna lead into like a breakthrough, and then I'm gonna and then it might lead into whatever. It's just always grooving and flowing. But then when the groove, you're not following the groove, and maybe the groove is something that in your mind and your beliefs, it's like, that's wrong, that's bad, I shouldn't feel that way, I'm not supposed to feel suspenseful, I'm not supposed to feel whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to say, we should spend the rest of our lives feeling negative emotions. It is something that we're healing, but it's just, something I've noticed where, again, what you resist persists. So it's like the more you resist things, it's like being out of groove. You're like not, it's like you're fumbling around the groove and you're not really feeling it anymore, and you're getting lost. It's like you're actually spiraling out of, I don't know how to say it, like the 0 point. You're spiraling out of the very thing that you are, because often because you're overthinking, you have these biases of like, I shouldn't be feeling that way, or this shouldn't be happening, or like, this isn't what I planned. So anything like that, it's like you're losing the groove, coming back into the groove and just flow with it. Life is music. Exactly, it really is. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I hope you guys get some sleep. I can't relate. I am actually on the opposite, where I sleep too much. I literally sleep so much. I feel like it's actually insane. I sleep a lot lately, but you know what? I don't mind, because I have like these amazing dreams. Like, so I feel like I'm still being really productive in the dream realm. So I guess, like, that's why it's okay. But it's strange. Sometimes I wonder, am I like the only one like who's sleeping like this? I'm sure I'm not, but yeah, fear is the mind killer. And it's again, it's like a feedback loop. It's not even the fear, it's the fear of the fear. Because it's like, we all feel fear. It's like, fear comes up, it's like, okay, it's fear. So you can respond, and you can be like, okay, I'm feeling fear right now, like, what do I need to do? And try to respond to that. Or the knee-jerk reaction many of us have to fear is like, oh god, I feel fear, like, oh shit, like, and just start spiraling. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's like those feedback loops. Or it's because, and again, so it really comes back to flowing. And I guess also what I'm trying to say is like, being honest and acceptive of your emotions and thoughts and everything around you that's arising. It's a flow. It's like learning to be accepting of it fully without resisting it, and then learning how to actually respond to it. It doesn't mean you have to give into it. That's not really what surrendering really means. Surrender doesn't mean give up. And what the way I'm talking about surrender means, like, give it to God, like, give it to the higher power within you, because it knows better. It's not the ego. The ego isn't gonna, um, the ego wants to have its knee-jerk reactions of like, oh, I'm feeling doubt again, I better just, I must be doing something wrong, I bet I can't do it, or maybe I'm not good enough, or the fear, I better not do it, these kinds of things, when really we can just, from a higher level, begin to observe, oh, yeah, fear is arising, anxiety is arising, doubt is arising, anger is arising, you know it's multidimensional, but I feel like you guys know what I mean. I'm just trying to, I guess, break this down. It's just like observing it, and it seems like a paradox, but it's not. It's just multidimensional. It's like you got to fully have that feeling and that experience, but also like not like let it control you, you know? And I guess ultimately that comes back to starting to live from a higher self perspective. And that's a practice, you know? But I think it really does ultimately come down. And I think I actually had a dream about this now that I'm thinking about it. I think I had a dream where I was just, I don't even remember, but I remember the lesson was that being present really actually is one of the most important things for us to be doing here, which is simple, right? But it's something we often need reminded of. So I feel like that's a good note to kind of conclude that whole thing on. It's just being present, and even Brett mentioned earlier about looking into the past and feeling anger, or maybe in my case, looking into the future and feeling anxiety. It's like, how am I possibly going to do all that? How is this possibly going to work out? Because in the past I wasn't able to do that, teetering, tottering back throughout time and space. Bring all that energy back in the present and just be. Because I've been a witness to so many miracles, you guys. I know I'm not the only one, but I really have. So that's why I have to just live my life like this at this point, because there's so many things that my anxiety, my ego, these parts that I'm experiencing, they might be like, there's no way that I can do that. And then it ends up happening. I end up doing it, and it's not because I had to force it and worry about it and control it. It's because I actually had to kind of have this, again, intentional surrender, to let go and flow and be receptive to what God has in store for me. I feel like that's a big one. A lot of times we know God has amazing things in store for us, and it can be overwhelming to the ego. The ego's like, what? Like, not me. Like, I couldn't possibly do that. How would I do that? Or the ego will go in overdrive and be like, oh, I need to do this and this and this and this. And I don't know. I've just found a lot of wisdom in, as much as you can, coming back to the present moment and hearkening to the higher self, and seeing, well, being present and finding the groove. I think that's the best analogy I've probably ever come up with. And I'm sure I'm not the first one to come up with it, but it did just come into my mind, for any musicians out there. And I think everybody's musical. I truly think that everybody, I think music is a gift that I wish for everyone, to some degree, just experiencing what it's like to play music with other people, in that experience of finding the groove and being, in time with people, being in the groove with people. It's really an incredible experience that teaches you a lot about energy. It changes you a lot about life. So it's a really good example. And if for anyone who is a musician here, for example, if you're jamming with a group of people and somebody falls out of the groove, it's this interesting experience where, someone falls out of the groove, everybody can feel it. And it's like, ooh, and then either they catch back up, or like everybody kind of like has to reharmonize to back into the groove. So it's just an interesting experience. It's not physical. Music is a great example of, non-physical energy that's very real in a way. It's still very tangible. So yeah, simple message today. I feel it's just, I just want to spread some love, spread some uplifting um, energy to everyone, because really that's just what I feel throughout my days. And even when challenges arise, it's like I just feel so much love. And again, I feel like I want to do a shout out to gratitude. Never underestimate the power of gratitude. It's interesting how we can, and I see it in myself, so I can kind of see it in other people. It's like we can really get in these weird rabbit holes of like, again, the beliefs, strange beliefs that we hold about ourselves or about others or about the reality. We can get into some strange rabbit holes that we're actually creating ourselves. That's how, again, I don't know if meta is the right word. I don't really like that word anymore, because I feel like, the metaverse and like all that like weird stuff, but it's the best word I know to describe how it's like It's trippy. It's like you're self-creating the lens that you're seeing reality through. So just be aware of that. Nobody's doing that to you. You're actually doing that to yourself, you know. Yeah, we've all been indoctrinated for sure, and we're all coming out of that. But it's like once you start to awaken, it's like I'm actually the one that's creating the very lens of how I perceive the world. So it's pretty incredible. Hi, William. Good morning. Good morning to you in Australia. Good to see you, beautiful soul. All right, you guys. Well, I think I'm going to conclude with that um, for today. But I'm so thankful for all of you. So much love to all of you. You know, we're gonna do a little integration singing bowl as tradition, because honestly, it's just the best way to end, I think. But I just can't convey enough. Like so much love to all of you. So much gratitude. I truly hope you can. I really hope you benefit from this. You know, and even if this is just kind of review for you, the things we were talking about, you know, at least it can kind of affirm that and again just spread that love. That's really what it's about for me. It's like I think my videos are very heart based, and that's really, you know, my biggest intention, because as I've said before, I feel like that's the greatest medicine when it comes down to it, is real love. You know, it's something that it's like the water, you know. It's just like the water. It's like that's the water that comes through and just like quenches the thirsty deserts. You know, you see these people that are insane or mentally ill, you know, and obviously, you know, you could have a million explanations for what's going on and how to navigate that. But, you know, at the core of it, a lot of it just comes down to love, you know, simply for many people, you know, for many people, it's that lack of love that has just been so painful, you know, since childhood. Truly, it's been so painful. People don't know how to deal with it. And if you don't learn how to heal your pain, that's when all kinds of doors open for sicknesses, mentally and physically. So, again, you want to simplify it. It comes back to love, and it starts with yourself and loving others, having compassion, true compassion for yourself and for others, to understand the depth. You know, that's something I'm grateful to have experienced, you know, at least to the degree that I'm aware of, is the depth of, you know, the pain and the suffering people can feel. And it's like, it's those kinds of experiences that you, when you pull yourself up out of, you have such compassion for it, you know, and you have such passion to share that it is possible to be free. It is possible to create your heaven on earth. It is possible. You can do it. And you do deserve it. You are worthy of it. And that's some trailblazing shit that we're on, right? So, yes, here I go again. But yeah, just so much love to all of you. Truly, so grateful. So many things coming. You know, I have a lot of ideas. I'm not quite ready to reveal yet, but there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that are really, really exciting. Long time dreams of mine. So beautiful. Ashman, homework. Do what you have to do to get a good night's sleep. Beautiful. Yes, I love that. Hot bath, exercise, big good dinner, good cry, new sheets, warm milk, a kiss, a story, pajamas, cocoa. I'll add a blanket for it. What else? Yeah, exercise is a really good one for me. But you know what? I really can't speak because I swear, you guys, I sleep a lot. Like, I mean, like, I don't take naps during the day, but like, when I go to sleep, like, I have no problem. So I don't know. That's interesting. I'm on the other side of the spectrum, but it kind of makes me think of dreams. Maybe that's something we'll talk about next time. Is dreams and the importance of dreams and some of the things you can do um, to have better dreams, to have clearer dreams, because it actually is important to make sure you're sovereign in the dream realm. And that's why, you know, personally, I recommend shielding with force fields of love light. You know, like I said, I do that every day, twice a day. I never miss it because I know it makes such a profound difference in my life. Literally, I feel like I'm in a whole other reality because I'm surrounded by, you know, my I am love light source energy. So I do that when I wake up. Beautiful day. Do that before you go to bed. because you really want to have those sovereign, clear, dreamtime experiences, and something you can do is talk to your higher self, or if you talk to your guides, talk to God, however you experience it. Actually set intentions. I want to, um, it could be anything, literally, it could be anything. I want to, like I ask for my higher self to heal my stomach as I sleep. You can get a lot of healing done in your sleep. Or maybe I want to learn more about, other versions of me, past life versions of me, or, I don't know, other fractals of you, throughout the universe. Or maybe you could say, like, I call upon Yeshua. I want to walk and talk with Yeshua about, loving myself more, or about literally anything. It's whatever is going on in your life. But I really recommend that, or you could even say, I don't consent to any infringement as I'm sleeping at all. I call upon the highest forces of love and light to be with me as I sleep. I'm just giving you guys, I'm just tossing out templates here that you can use and you can make your own. But these are things that I do, and I've had incredible experiences. And, I feel like, again, it's just the beginning. So, yes, okay. I hate to leave because I just feel you guys' love so much, and I'm so thankful. I just want you to know I really do appreciate you being here and showing up, and just, yeah, just showing up. It's an honor. It's an honor to be amongst, you guys. So all of you, just know you are incredible. So proud of you. William, John, Arcade Alchemist, Brett, Ashman, Jim, if you're still here, the Chad TI, and all the other beautiful ones. Vince, 53, USA, and I know there's so many more beautiful ones in here. Eternal Truth. Oh yeah, Ashman, thanks Regan for 106 videos. I forgot to mention. Yeah, we've surpassed the 100th video officially. Mom up in here, so much love. Thank you so much. Oh wow, Keith, you started drinking the Blue Lotus tea. Oh, that's so awesome. I love the Blue Lotus. I actually should make a whole video about the Blue Lotus. But I'm glad to see that started to help a little bit. Hopefully you can keep doing that. Yeah, I think we should make a whole video about that. So maybe we'll do that next time, or before next week. Okay. Oh my gosh, so much love. All right, you guys, let's take a moment to, again, come in with that breath. We have this prana all around us. You can actually visualize God's source energy. It's like an infinite rainbow just pouring on you eternally. Tap in, tap into that prana. Breathe it in. Be free. Live free. Live free. Let go of all that stuff that's killing you. You don't need it. Where we're going, we don't need it. And if you can, close your eyes. If not, just try to relax. Just take a moment to sit down. Just a quick little moment to check in. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Go ahead and imagine all the light, beautiful, golden, white, divine light of love surrounding you, filling up your whole vessel, your whole body. The highest love, only the highest love for you, filling up your body, your energy centers, your spine, your DNA. And imagine a big circle of light around you, a big sphere of light, nourishing you, loving you, blessing you, protecting you. You can feel it, feel its warmth. Intending that it clears away any obstacles, anything that's no longer serving you. Being free and clear and sovereign in this moment. and for the rest of your day, and for the rest of all your days, surrounded by this continually expanding light that is you. So beautiful. May we all experience even more light, even more love, connecting to who we truly are, being empowered, being free, creating our heaven on earth, being brave, being bold, being courageous, pushing past the comfort zone, trusting in God, connecting to God first before all else, and seeing what happens. See what happens. Be pleasantly surprised. Listen in your heart. You have all the answers you need within, always. And so it is. God bless all of you. Hi, Richard. I see you made it, but it is the tail end, but still so much love. It's always good to see you. Luminal Mind. Beautiful channel. I highly recommend checking Luminal Mind out as well. Some really consciousness expanding stuff. Okay, again, all my love to all of you. God bless you on this Monday. Have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you soon. So much love to all of you.